for our final segment, we have over-unders. I mean, this is something that's always fun to do. We could look at these things and we can look back on these things and just see how bad our picks were, which is always fun to do, or how good they were. Much like Tyler, our producer, who selected Nick Paul to absolutely go off just out of the blue. Let's see if we can get something right here, Brennan. Let me start you off with Matt Murray for Thursday. Over under, if he plays, it's a big if right now. So we should say that first, but over under 907 save percentage.
I mean, I want to just say NA because I don't think he's going to be in the net, but I will go over. I think that when Matt Murray returns and plays his first game, he's going to have a standout performance because he needs to. And I think that he's prepared all offseason to have a standout performance. I mean, from everything that I've heard, this guy's ready to go. And I think that we're going to finally start to see a legitimate starting goalie in Matt Murray. I mean, we've seen legitimate starting goalies, it seems, in guys that we might not have been expecting to, but I think that Matt Murray is going to come to play, and I think that he's going to be a bright spot for us for the rest of the year.
Wow, we're not even talking about Thursday. We're going for the rest of the year. Nice, Brennan. I love the optimism. I'm also going to take the over on this, but I do think he's going to play. I think, he was sick from what I hear, so that's what's holding him out. Unless it's, there's some kind of undisclosed injury that they don't want people knowing about. If he's genuinely just sick, I would expect him to get the start versus San Jose on Thursday. And if that's the case, I hope that he's over 907 save percentage, or they're probably not walking away with the W. So I'm going with the over on that one.
So on to the next one with Brady Tkachuk, destined to make his highly anticipated season debut. Over under 17 minutes on ice.
Oh, come on. You've got to play Brady Tkachuk. I mean, DJ, he's just chomping at the bit to get this guy in here. As much as they say, oh, yeah, we're going to, restrict his minutes a little bit and ease him into things. There's no easing a guy like Brady Tkachuk into things. Let's be honest. He's playing over 17 minutes guaranteed on Thursday.
I love the guaranteed, and I wouldn't bet against you. I am definitely taking the over as well. I think that the fact that Brady has actually sat out games, which there was almost a debate of if he should, because he looked like he was ready to go, and the little tiny iPhone clips that we got of him in practices. But no, I am also going with the over. He's the pulse of this team, and I think he's going to be absolutely roaring. He's definitely hungry to get back on the ice, and he's going to show it. I think as soon as he steps on there, I feel bad for the first San Jose player to touch the puck because Brady's going to be running them through a wall.
Love it. And from one captain, potential captain in Brady Tkachuk, to a former captain in Erik Karlsson, over under plus minus of -1. We know he struggles defensively, Brennan, but you said it. He started the year pretty good. Pretty good. Two pretties. What do you think? -1 over under on Thursday.
Yeah, no, I think Erik Karlsson's an over. I genuinely think that Karlsson finishes the game with +1. I mean, hopefully it's like a 4-2 win for Ottawa, so that +1 comes when it kind of works itself out. But I think that Karlsson, from what I've seen and from what I've heard to start the year, he's looking a little bit more like himself. And I think that he really needs this year to find his game. And I know when he finds his game, he is an exceptional player. From all the nights that I watched this guy be the best player on the ice time in and time again in Ottawa. So I'm hoping he can get back to at least a much closer version of that than we've seen in recent years. So being optimistic with Erik Karlsson, who's looking like he's going to have a bounce back year, hopefully, I'm taking the over. What about yourself, Derek?
All right. I love it. Hey, I'm far from an Erik Karlsson hater. I love the guy. I still love the guy. I still watch his games. He's an exciting player even to date, but hey, he's playing against my team. I mean, I want him to get the under here. I want him to be, looking like a really good golf score out there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say he's going to be under -1. I'm going to think he's going to be on the ice for at least 2 goals against. The Senators have started the season with a really powerful looking offense. They're creating a lot of chances. San Jose is a team that can definitely be exploited defensively. I'm taking at least a -2 on Erik Karlsson.
I think it's also fair to note that even in many of his great seasons in Ottawa, he was still pretty close to being a dash player. So that's probably a pretty safe bet. But I like arguing with you.
Hey, it's always fun. And speaking of fun, Ottawa is averaging 2.3 goals per game through 3 games. Not fun like they were last season, but what's the over under 3 goals on Thursday? Is that a safe bet for the over? Where are you taking?
Oh, you got to put your money on the over, and I think that's easy money to win because Ottawa is looking electric. They're looking like they're generating all sorts of offensive chances, and I don't think San Jose's decor and goaltending is. I think that San Jose is probably going to be a team that if they're going to win games this year, it's probably going to have to be 4-3, 5-4 kind of thing. I don't know how much I trust Aiden Hill. I don't even know who their backup is this season, so I'm definitely taking the over on that. I think Ottawa has looked strong against a very strong Dallas decor, which is I would think would do a way better job of shutting them down than San Jose would. So definitely taking the over on that. What about yourself?
Yeah, this is a game that everyone on the team is going to be excited about. I mean, Brady Tkachuk's back in the lineup. The guys are going to be buzzing on Thursday. I think it's a very safe bet to say that they will score more than 3 goals on Thursday. I'm taking the over. It's going to boost their season average of 2.3 much higher. They're generating a ton of shots on net too. They're last I looked, they were at 84 shots, which is top 6 in the NHL for shot generating shots and chances on net. So I think it's a safe bet that the Senators are due to score. We've seen how much guys like Timmy Stützle, they're coming within inches of scoring. So it's just a matter before the floodgates open for players like Stützle, Batherson, Norris. I mean, the goals will come in bunches, and hopefully Brady Tkachuk can notch his first in his first game.
Now, Derek, one last over under for you. So I know that Pierre Dorian gave a pretty interesting interview with James Duthie, a former guest of our show. And I'm really curious of your opinion because it to me, it sounds like Dorian may still be in the market for whether it be a top 6 center, top 6 forward. And I'm wondering the over under if it happens that the Ottawa Senators acquire a top 6 forward in over under 30 games of regular season play.
All right, I'm gonna put my realistic cap back on and say that it probably doesn't happen. I just think that unless the wheels fall off on the season and things really start to go downhill, I was trying to read into that as well because I know they asked the question, and I know Pierre typically will make a comment about how he's always looking and he's always GMing, doing his job and listening to offers and going out and making offers. So the potential is there, but I don't think the need will necessarily be there. I hope the need isn't there for a top 6 forward. I mean, realistically, I see the need more being on the back end right now. Even though it's crowded, there's a ton of guys there. There just isn't really the quality that's necessary to get them to the next level, to get them to the postseason. So in my mind, I would rather them look at a defenseman, but I do think they would probably more realistically target a top 6 player. Rumor has it that Claude Giroux wants to come to his hometown and play in Ottawa. I don't know if they necessarily have the assets to make a trade like that happen, but if you approach the trade deadline, so I'm taking for starters, I'm going to take the over and say that it doesn't happen within the first 30 games of the season. But if you approach the trade deadline and Ottawa is close to a playoff spot, my mind might change. I mean, will they go out and acquire someone that can, put them over the top, as we like to say? There's definitely potential that can happen. What do you believe, Brennan?
So I'm in the same camp. I also believe it's over, and I do think that it's something that they're probably still considering, but I think that it's something that is probably closer to the trade deadline at this point as well. I think that they've done a really great job of building up this ship, and that all has started with their prospects, and they've really seen the value of these prospects. So I don't think that they're rushing to make a deal or overpay for anyone in the first 30 games of the year. So I'll take the over because I think that if they're even close to competing, Dorian has said that he expects to be a buyer come the trade deadline. And I think that that's the kind of pieces that this team would definitely need to put them over the top, even if it's just a bit of an upgrade in certain spots. I think I think there's definitely some areas that we could still maybe improve. But I also think what you said about the decor is a really interesting point. And maybe with the emergence of some of these guys, it's not as needed as we thought, and maybe we can be a little more patient. So I'm going to take the over as well. I think that Dorian and Co has waited it out to kind of see what they have internally, and so far it's looked good. Like, so far there hasn't been a lot of major holes up front. It's really been holes on the back end. So yeah, I'm with you.
Fantastic. Hey, it's been a pleasure finally getting to talk about actual hockey again. Like we talked about on the top of the show, it's fun talking about hockey. We can do this all season, and it was a real positive start. So I'm just hoping for more positivity to, when we recap next week, we have hopefully more wins to talk about and more outstanding performances to talk about, because there was quite a few this past week.
Definitely. Thanks for always. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Take care.